Barkeep. Another round of sake. Keep them coming. You're probably wondering what a guy like me is doing in a place like this. Well, those bastards over at Lovelyland laid me off. Apparently because this manga series is stuck in Forever Spring, so there won't be another Easter egg hunt event because there won't be another Easter anytime soon. Can you believe that? But drowning my sorrows in this sake sure takes me back. Back to the good old days of one of my other previous jobs. Did I ever tell you about that? I remember it like it was before the Easter egg hunt event. I'm Moonlight150, and this is my review of the latest 100 Girlfriends manga chapter, Chapter 229, Momoha-sensei was raised in a brew house. As always, I won't be going over everything as I encourage you to check out the chapter for yourself by supporting the scanlation team ZoonScans who put in the hard work to get us these chapters to enjoy by reading the chapters where they post them, as well as supporting the official release in your region so we can keep this series going. Now, raise a glass with me and let's get started. The chapter opens with Momoha inviting Rentaro to her,
Oh my god, what is that?
well... Oh my god! House is being a little too generous here. Humble abode, let's call it that. As she wishes to disclose something, but wanted to tell her boyfriend first. And I want to say, we have so little of the girlfriends actually calling Rentaro boyfriend, it almost feels odd when it happens. But now that we have Eru and her whole darling thing, maybe it'll become more balanced. So what's the news that Momoha wanted to run by Rentaro? That she's pregnant! NANI? Oh, can you imagine? Actually, what's really going on is that Momoha has decided to give up on teaching. Well, less give up and more that she's sacrificing it because, as it turns out, that the brew house that Momoha's parents own isn't doing too hot and is in need of assistance. So she's gonna go help out over there instead of being a teacher, even though she fully admits that most likely her helping won't turn the business around and save it. But because this is where she grew up, she felt like she needed to at least put in the effort to try and save it, that it's better than doing nothing at all. Saddened by her decision, Rentaro reflects on how much the teaching job means to Momoha, and we get this reminder of this side of Momoha that we haven't seen since probably her introduction, that she has this almost self-loathing aspect to her, but she loves being able to steer others to a better future as a teacher. She considers herself a lost cause but wants to bolster the potential of others. Rentaro is able to see through her words though and says that he knows that this isn't what she really wants to do because she does love being a teacher. And thankfully she doesn't really try to lie and hide it, but more just accept that this is the hand that she has been dealt and really has no choice but to act upon it. A nice callback to how she just forces herself to accept things. Though Rentaro being Rentaro refuses to accept anything that makes his girlfriend unhappy. He suggests that he starts working at the brew house to help out her parents, and asks that he meets her parents to see if they can do just that. Cut to the Bonoji... Bonuji? I don't think I've ever figured out how to say your last name. Cut to the brew house. And we get something I have been waiting for so long in this series, meeting parents. Particularly meeting the parents of one of the older non-high schooler girlfriends. It's actually criminal how few girlfriends' parents have met Rentaro at this point. And well, it goes as well as you expect. The parents are horrified to hear that not only is their daughter dating someone younger, but a student at the school she teaches at no less. So now I just have to ask, did her parents know she was dating someone but she kind of left out the details about Rentaro? How do you think that conversation went?
Alright, quiet on the set.
Hey, Mom and Dad, I finally met someone and we're dating. Oh, what's he like? Well, he's really nice and honest and cares about me a lot. And, he's nice? Sorry, gotta go grade papers, bye! Or did they not even know she was seeing someone? So not only are they dropping the bombshell that their homeless, continuously drunk daughter finally found someone, and it's a student at the school she teaches at, what an emotional roller coaster that would be. But Rentaro and Momoha quickly try to defuse the situation, saying that things have been kept pretty PG. Well, at least as PG as a teacher-student relationship can be. Even though Momoha just fully blurts out in front of him and her parents how much she would take him right now in this brewhouse if it wasn't for those pesky things called laws. Also, I love this panel of these two panicking. Look how much they have rubbed off on one another. Same facial expression, same hand waving. Like younger boyfriend, like older girlfriend, I guess.
Yikes!
After that emotional whiplash, things begin to settle down and her parents accept the relationship for now. I'm guessing Rentaro just charmed them like he does everyone else. But even after all that, they initially refuse Rentaro's help because they don't want to take away a student's free time. Thankfully, Rentaro is him and he has a plan B. which is to lean into the sake that Momoha is always drinking, the one that is made with flowers that doesn't leave you smelling like alcohol. Initially, the parents disregard trying to market that beverage in particular, since your average alcohol fan doesn't care about smelling like the backside of a dumpster after Cinco de Mayo. And instead, Rentaro plans to start targeting a new demographic for the brewhouse, that being the youths. And by youths, I mean legally allowed to drink youths, the lighter drinkers of the current generation. And Rentaro also wants to make a homemade commercial and post it online to hopefully draw on some locals who may have never stopped in before. After donning her mother's wedding kimono and a love panic attack by Rentaro, it's time to start shooting the commercial. But after a bit of shooting, Rentaro can't help but notice something feels off and instead says that's a wrap on filming, which Momoha celebrates with a drink even though she has been drinking throughout all of the filming. Which then dawns on Rentaro what was missing from the footage and begins to start filming the candidness of Momoha just enjoying her drink. Which I guess I'll just put this up now. Do not film anyone without their consent. Just don't do it. This has been Life Advice by Moonlight. The following day, or I guess days later, hard to say, they don't really specify, and trust me, I've been keeping watch on stuff like that, and Rentaro has been hard at work editing the commercial. Rentaro and Momoha meet up again at her permanent domicile, and has Momoha review it before sending it off to her parents, where Momoha notices that it's a compilation of candid videos of her, and Rentaro says that she looks her best when enjoying a drink without a care in the world. And she is touched instead of being upset about being filmed without her knowing about it. Let me just tap this sign again, for good measure. Do not film people without their consent. Turns out the commercial is a big hit with the locals, and just as Rentaro predicted, it's the younger crowd that has taken an interest in something that allows them to drink without smelling like a frat house humidifier. Not only is the Momoha flower scented sake a hit, and yes, side note, the sake that Momoha is always drinking and the one they are marketing is named after her. It's called Momoha. But their new customers also become interested in other drinks the store has to offer. So moral of the story here, folks, support your local mom and pop businesses. Momoha's parents inform her of the good news that the business has been booming, so she won't need to quit her job, which pleases both of them as teaching is what Momoha really wants to keep doing, and as thanks, Momoha decides to get all frisky with Rentaro in her tent. Well, at least as frisky without going over those aforementioned lines that she bawled about earlier. And we end with what seems to be Nozawa's favorite pastime of giving a girlfriend a post-kiss close-up shot. This is like, what, the third now? And it can't be a Momoha chapter without ending it on a horny note, with Momoha dreaming about Rentaro graduating and them getting down and dirty. Sorry Momoha, given the pace of this manga and the fact you haven't left spring of the first year of high school, you're gonna be waiting for quite some time. And there we have it, a nice Momoha focus chapter. Feels like it's been a long time in the making. Honestly, this feels like a straight-up sequel to her introduction with all the callbacks, like how Momoha doesn't value much of herself except by being a cautionary tale and prefers guiding students to a better life. Her putting her parents above all else and was willing to sacrifice her job to help them out is an extension of her debut where we find out she's sending most of her paycheck to them. And to top it all off, we got our first meet the parents of an adult girlfriend, and the amazing line of Momoha just straight saying she wants to bang Rentaro here and now, but he won't allow it and in front of her parents no less. I think the only thing missing is some character development on Momoha's part. She didn't really change or learn anything new, but I'm okay with that as we saw her selfless side here the most, which we almost never see in regular shenanigan chapters where she's just mainly drunk. Ah yes, hopes and dreams and careers. Those were the days. Now I'm all washed up and drowning my sorrows in cheap booze. Man, what would my senpais even think if they saw me like this? Oh, senpais! That reminds me of another time back at my old job, barkeep. You gotta hear this one too. Oh, it wasn't too long after that previous story. Moving right along to chapter 230, Siblings, Sisters, Senpai. I'm sure somewhere Saki is fuming that she isn't a part of this chapter. But we open with Karane walking from school, where she encounters some kids in a playground having a scuffle. And it just so happens Karuto is in the middle of it. Karuto, you guys remember Karuto, right? Karane's younger brother who appeared in a single chapter over 85 chapters ago? Well, I only remember it because I reread the marriage proposal chapter like once a week. He's in a scuffle because he's trying to retrieve a keychain that the girl dropped, but the bully here won't give it back. Until Karane comes to the rescue, making the bully flee in terror, which is kind of funny to think about that his singular high school girl was enough to make this kid run away, even without knowing she's freakishly strong. But instead of being grateful of having his big sister coming to his rescue, he ridicules her by saying that she should mind her own business, which leaves Karane dumbfounded at the whole scenario. Not so much that he yelled at her, but the fact that he did it in an unsundere-like fashion. Later on, we find Kishiko walking home with her female Kendo clubmates. Which, I need to say real quick, between these two chapters, we're getting so many callbacks that we assumed have just been long forgotten. Like Momoha's parents' brewhouse, Karane's tsundere family, and now the fact that yes, Kishika is indeed captain of the Kendo club. Also, this must just be a day where the family didn't gather on the rooftop for after-school shenanigans, with both Karane and Kishika walking home separately. But Karane and Kishka lock eyes with one another as Kishka notices Karane brooding on the swing set, and she excuses herself from her club to go check in with her. What supportive fellow sister wives. As Kishka pulls up a seat next to Karane, they begin having a long conversation about being someone that others look up to. Not only in the sense of Kishka being the Kendo club captain, but the fact that they are both the older sisters to younger siblings, particularly younger brothers. Karane then confides to Kishka what's been going on with her younger brother Karuto and the bully. And Kishka gives some big sister advice about being a protective older sister, which I won't go over at all as I encourage you to go read it for yourself as Nakamura wrote a nice speech for Kishka here, and Zoonscans did a great job translating the speech here, so go read it in its entirety. And then Kishka comes in and offers that she'll be there to keep Karane in check for the upcoming fight, which I just need to call out. I know it's usually implied in a lot of these kind of chapters, but when someone actually says something like, as your fellow member of Rentro's family, it just feels nice. It really makes them feel like the supportive familial unit. As the next day comes, Karuto and the bully are already at it. Wait, does this kid have a name? Oh, it's Ji Yan. Is that Chinese? Yeah, I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, and I don't want all of China mad at me for butchering that name, so, look at him in his Charlie Brown ass shirt. This is just Bully Charlie Brown. I'm just calling him Bully Charlie Brown. Bully Charlie Brown begins to lay into Karuto as Karane is helpless to watch from the sidelines, with Kishka there to keep her in check just like she said she would be. But Karane begins to fight back, saying she wants to go help her brother, but Kishka then reminds Karane to look at the situation differently, noticing how Karuto doesn't look close to having given up already after that beating. And that's when it dawns on Karane that Karuto is doing all of this because he likes the girl, and he's doing this all for her. And as Bully Charlie Brown looks to go in for the final strike, making Karuto hear and realize he is doing this for Honoka, activates his family's genetic tsundere power and wallops Charlie Brown in a single strike, sending him straight into some playground equipment. Is that kid okay? He's twitching on the ground. Someone call the school nurse! And with that victory, Karuto takes back the keychain, which I forgot to call out earlier is yet another callback, as it is the Pikachu ripoff way back in Himika's intro chapter. Like I said, nothing but callbacks going on here. This is what I call world building. And Karuto gives Honoka the keychain he fought to get back for her, and the cycle of the tsundere continues as Karuto denies doing it for her. As Honoka thanks Karuto for doing that for her, he also in turn thanks Karane, who he knows is watching from somewhere. After Honoka offers to help tend to his wounds, Kishka is also supporting the crying Karane, as she had to endure watching her little brother be in a fight. True sister-wife support there. But we aren't done yet, as the following day we see the two outside the school yet again, with Kishka leading a training regiment for her Kendo club as bystanders look on. But it seems the god of Looney Tunes logic is having a laugh as the baby ends up throwing her bottle right into Kishka's mouth, trying to encourage her to stay hydrated due to the sweltering heat. Little baby Rika, it's still spring in this manga if you haven't been able to tell since you were probably born like yesterday, so there is no sweltering heat. Summer is a myth around these parts, I'm sure you'll learn that soon enough. But due to all of these shenanigans, Kishka is now fighting back the urges to go into baby mode in front of her Kendo classmates because of the bottle that went into her mouth. Thankfully, fellow sister wife Karane is there to straighten her out, so she won't be made of a fool in front of her club, to keep up the image that Kishka is a reliable senpai. And with that, this tale of sisters and senpais comes to an end. You know what, barkeep? All of this reminiscing about my old job is really making me nostalgic. I think I miss it. You know what? Screw Lovney Land. I'm going back to my old job. I'm sure they gotta take me back, right? Thanks for listening to me. I'm out. I'm back, everyone! And I'm kind of glad I did them together. Not only for the character spotlight time, but for all the callbacks as well. I know I've said this before in these videos, but the strength of this series is the fact that it has no problem spending a whole chapter focusing on a singular girlfriend or two, whether that being character growth or just some much needed time in the spotlight, to remind us why we like each individual girlfriend as a fully developed character, instead of just as a numbered girlfriend. Granted, Karane doesn't really need much as she has had multiple times in the spotlight, deservedly so for being one of the best characters in the series, but Kishka hasn't done much since that beach tournament chapter, outside of just going baby mode. So it was nice to not only see the Kendo side of her again after so long, but her strength of being an older sister and senpai within the family. Great times all around. Also, when do we get the Karuto and Honoka spin-off series? That looks adorable. We need a series with a male tsundere. But with these two chapters out of the way, it's time to start the cycle anew. Girlfriend 35 is up next, and it seems like we even got a hint in the preview, with Rentaro meeting her in the infirmary. So I will see you all in the next video as we break down everything for Girlfriend 35, and everything she has to offer as the last girlfriend of 2025. I've been Winline150, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell for when that next video goes live. And I'll definitely try to get that one out more on time than this one was. See you all next time.